Okay, back on 10.2, we're going to do some more problems on the work rate. So here we have a sink is a quarter full when both the faucet and the drain are opened. The faucet alone can fill the sink in 6 minutes, while it takes 8 minutes to empty it with the drain. How long will it take to fill the remaining 3/4 of the sink? So that's kind of the key here. What we have is we're going to have some kind of a sink. And if you remember from the previous video, we started full. Well, this time we're starting down here. So we filled basically a quarter of the sink already. And it's still going to drain, but we're also going to fill. Now it fills faster than it drains this time. And so what we need to do is think about this again. So we'll have a fill, we'll have a drain, and we'll have the together, okay? All right, so it says 6 minutes to fill. So we know that's going to be 6, and it says 8 minutes to drain. Now that's if we have a straight empty sink. You know, that's assuming empty, because when you fill, you want to go from 0 on up. When we drain, we wanted to go from full down. But now we only have quarter full, and so we only have to fill now 3/4. Okay, so we have to fill 3/4. So it's only going to take 3/4 as long to do that, and it's only going to take 3/4 as long to empty too. So what we have to do is multiply by 3/4, and then we still have our time, which we can call x. Okay. Now when we do that, that's going to be 18 over 4, or 9 over 2. And here, let's just go ahead and do this. That's just going to equal 6. So now we have, if we take the reciprocal of this, that's 2 over 9. The reciprocal, that's 1 over 6. And the reciprocal, that's 1 over x. Now we have the filling is faster, so we're going to take the 2/9 minus the draining, which is 1/6, and that's equal to 1 over x. Now, if we think about that, that's 3 times 3, that's 2 times 3, and that's x. So we have 3 times 3 times 2 times x, so that's going to be 18x is going to be our LCD. And so we're going to take that times each term here. So when we take the first one, 9 will go in here too, so we'll have 4x. Here, that'll go in 3, so we'll have 3x. And here that's going to go in, and that's just going to be 18. So we have x equals 18, and we have minutes. Okay, so it's going to take 18 minutes to fill the remaining 3/4 of the sink here. Okay, so that's how long it's going to take. And that's based on, you know, our fill time is 6 minutes, our drain time is 8 minutes, but we only have to do 3/4 of the sink here. All right, what about this one? A water tank is being filled by 2 inlet pipes. Pipe A can fill the tank in 4.5 hours, while both pipes together can fill the tank in 2 hours. And so what we need to do is figure out how long it takes the tank to use only pipe B. So we have some tank, or pipe A, some pipe B, and then together. Pipe A is 4.5 hours, so if we write that, that's going to be 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9/2. B is going to be X. We don't know that one. And together it's 2 hours. Okay. So our part of the job that we can do in one is 2/9, 1 over X, 1 over 2. Okay. Now if we're adding 2 pipes together, that means we're going to take 2/9 plus 1 over X is equal to 1 over 2. Now, if we think about that, that's 3 times 3, that's a 2 and an x, so that means we have 18x is going to be our LCD. Okay. Now we'll take that times each term. Well, 9 goes in here too, so we'll have 2x times 2, so that's 4x. Here, x goes in there, so we have plus 18. And here, 2 goes in here, 9, so we'll have 9x. Okay. Now we'll subtract 4x. That way we have positive x on the right. So we have 18 equals 5x. And so x is equal to 18 over 5, and we have hours. And again, depending on if they want it that way, or if they want maybe decimals, we can have either 18.5, 18 fifths or 3.6 hours. So either way we want to do it, that's going to work for a value. Again, we just kind of have to decide, which way they want to do it, as an improper fraction or a decimal, or if we wanted to reduce that into a mixed number. All right. Here we've got Robert takes 9 hours longer than Paul to repair a transmission. If it takes them 2 2/5 hours to do the job if they work together, how long will it take each of them working alone? All right, so we've got Robert, and we'll call that R. Paul is going to be P, and then together. All right, so Robert takes 9 hours longer than Paul. So let's call Paul X, and then that's going to be X plus 9. And 2 2/5, that's going to be 12 fifths of an hour. If we go ahead and convert it to the improper fraction, that makes it easier. So when we just take the reciprocal, that's going to be a lot nicer. Now we take 1 over x plus 9, 1 over x, and 5 over 12 for the part of the hour it takes to get that much of the job done. And so now we have 1 over x plus 9 plus 1 over x equals 5 over 12. Now our LCD is just going to be the 12x times x plus 9, because we're just going to have a 12, we have an x, and we have an x plus 9. So we multiply by 12x times x plus 9. Now we take that times the first term, the x plus 9's cancel, we have 12x. Now we take this times that, the x's cancel, so we have plus 12 times x plus 9. And then that equals, now the 12's cancel, so we have 5 times x plus 9. Okay, so don't forget we still have that 5 there, so that's a 5, then we have x times x plus 9. Now we distribute, so here we have 12x plus 12x plus, and that's a 9, so that's going to be 108. And then we have 5x squared, and then we have plus 45x. Okay. Now we have 12x plus 12x, that's 24x. So if we subtract 24x here, we can subtract 24x here, subtract 108 here, subtract 108 here. And so now what we have is 0 equals 5x squared, and that's going to be plus 21x, and then minus 108. Okay. All right, so 0 equals, now it's going to be a 5x and an x. And this is divisible by 3 because 8 plus 1 is 3. And so 3 goes in there, 36. So 36, if we take that times 5, that's too big. But what if we put 36 here and 3 here? So it's 36 minus 15. And that's going to be 21. So that will work. And we need positive. So that's a plus, that's a minus. So we say each of these terms equal to 0. So 5x plus 36 equals 0. X minus 3 equals 0. So here x equals 3. So that's a possible. What about this one? Well, that says x is a minus 36 over 5. We throw that out because we have to have a positive time. And so then it says Paul takes 3 hours and Robert takes 3 plus 9 or 12 hours. So that's the amounts of time it takes each of the mechanics to repair the transmission by themselves, and then together they take the 2 2/5 hours. All right. So A takes 7.5 minutes longer than B to do a job. Working together, they can do the job in 9 minutes. How long does it take each working alone? All right, well, here we have A and B again. So we'll just say A and B and T. And it says A takes that many minutes longer than B. So let's let X equal B and X plus. Now I'm going to go ahead and convert that to improper. So it's going to be 15 halves. And this says it's going to take 9 minutes. Okay. So now we take the reciprocal. And so that's going to be 1 over x plus 15 halves. Now we're not going to change that, to 2/15 just because that only works on a fraction by itself, not when we have an addition. Then that's 1 over x, and this is 1 over 9. So we have 1 over x plus 15 halves plus 1 over x equals 1 over 9. And our LCD is 9 times x plus 15. So 9x times x plus 15 over 2. And so we're going to take that here. And so when we take this times the first one, the x plus 15 over 2 cancels. We get 9x. When we take it times this one, we drop out the x, so we get plus 9 times x plus 15 halves. And then that equals, now the 9's cancel, and we get x times x plus 15 halves, okay? All right, so now what we have to do is we have to distribute, and we forgot our in parenthesis there. So now we have 9x plus, and then we distribute, that's 9x plus. Now 15 times 9 is going to be 135 over 2. And so then we have here x squared plus 15 halves x. Okay, so this is 18x. So if we subtract 18x, and this is subtract 135 over 2. And so now we get 0 equals x squared, and if we take that and times 2 is 36 minus 15, so it's going to be a minus 21 over 2x, and then we still have our minus 135 over 2. I don't want to factor fractions, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the whole equation by 2 to get rid of all those fractions. And so then I have 0 equals 2x squared minus 21x minus 135. Okay, now I can factor, or attempt to factor. So it's 2x, x. Now 135, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's divisible by 9. 9 goes in there, 1, and there's a 5, 1, 5. So 15 and 9. 2 times 15 is 30 minus 9 is 21, so that would work. So let's try that. So that's going to be a 30, so we need a negative. And then it's going to be a positive, and we still have that equal to 0. So now we're going to set each of those terms equal to 0. So we're going to have 2x plus 9 equals 0, and x minus 15 equals 0. So here x is equal to 15. Here x is equal to, subtract the 9, and minus 9 over 2. Again, we can't have a negative time. And so B is going to take 15 minutes. Okay, keep. And we'll go back here, shift F5. All right, so B takes 15 minutes, and A takes 15 plus 7.5, so that's going to be 22 and 1/2, and that's minutes. Okay, so 7 plus 15, and then have that extra half. And so that's how long each of those are going to take to do the job. Okay, doesn't matter what the job is, but that's our times. Okay. All right, what about this last one? It takes John 24 minutes longer than Sally to mow the lawn. If they work together, they can mow the lawn in 9 minutes. How long does it take each to mow the lawn if they work alone? So this is going to be kind of like the last problem. And now we have a John, we have a Sally, and we have together. Okay. Together it says 9 minutes, so that's going to be 9. John's 24 minutes longer than Sally, so let's let Sally equal x, and John is going to be x plus 24. So that's going to be 1 over x plus 24. That's going to be 1 over x, and that's going to be 1 over 9. So we're going to take 1 over x plus 24 plus 1 over x equals 1 over 9. Now our LCD is going to be 9x times x plus 24. So basically each of these terms is by itself, and so it's going to take all of them. So 9x times x plus 24. Now when we take that times the first one, the x plus 24 cancels, we get 9x plus Now the x cancels, so we have a 9 times x plus 24, and that equals, now the 9's cancel, we have x times x plus 24. Okay, so distributing, we have 9x plus 9x plus, now 9 times 24 is going to be 216. That's going to be x squared plus 24x. So now we're going to subtract 18x. So we're going to subtract 18x, and we're going to subtract 216, and we're going to subtract 216. And so that's going to give us 0 equals x squared plus 6x, and then minus 216. So this is one that you just have to kind of go through all the factors. So you're gonna have to, it's divisible by 2, see what that works. And so this one, because it's so large, I went ahead and figured it out already. It's gonna be x, and it's gonna be plus 18, and x minus 12. And so basically what I did is I kept dividing by 2, and then after a while, I saw that there was also 3 in there, so I divided by 3 as well, and then that one ended up being the one that worked. So I set each of those factors equal to 0. So x equals 12, and x equals minus 18. Let's just erase that and make it a nice one. And so we know that that doesn't work. So x is equal to 12. So Sally takes 12 minutes, and John takes 24 more than that, so 36 minutes. So those are the times for both of the people. And that's how I would work that one. And again, this one, the 216, I just started at breaking it down. You know, I factored out a 2 and got a number, and then I factored out another 2. Then I saw that it was divisible by 3, and so then I took it out. And every time I went through, I went and looked and see if the difference was equal to 6. And when I got to that 12 pulling out, then I saw that then I had 18, and that was the one I needed. Okay. All right, so that's all I have for this section, and hopefully that will help you.